Robert's train set. I wasn't expecting to do this, but I've been on YouTube. There's been a lot of stuff on the newer Cura scale class 55 Deltic, hasn't there? And yes, good and bad. But I think we should always put it in context. Have you never received a product from any of the other manufacturers, i.e. Hornby, Bachmann, Dapol, Oxford Rail, any of them that have been perfect? I suspect that we've all received things that haven't been as good as we would have liked. So I have ordered a 55 of my own because I did actually want one. And I know some of you have had this on pre-order maybe for a year or even longer. But my particular one, I ordered it on the 29th of June, and we're here today, which is the 1st of July, and if I look down here, I have a box. Now this has come from a Cura scale, direct, and it was delivered this morning at about 11 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing I've done with it is I gave it a shake. And as you can probably hear, it's pretty good. I can feel a slight movement that way, but it seems to be pretty good this way. So I'm going to open it up and we'll have a look and see what's inside. It seems to be a big box for not a huge locate, but we'll have to see. But I know the boxes are quite big, aren't they? So let's do that. So here we are, box open, and as you can see, we've got a nice bit of brown paper here. So let's take this out. My God, there's a lot of brown paper. So I've got my invoice. Yep. And there's the box. So yeah, I would say that was reasonably packaged. I can't see that you could do a lot more. I would say that bubble wrap might have made it a little bit. There's quite a bit of giving this, but it's not too bad. So I'm now going to. You've seen loads of unboxings. You don't need to see this. So I'm going to now open the box and see if there's anything loose in it. So I've got it out of the box, which is pretty good. And again, it's pretty good. You know, it's not wobbling around anywhere, so there shouldn't be any reason for bits to fall off. So I'm just going to get it out of the sleeve and everything, and we'll have a look. So as usual, we get all the paperwork and so forth, as well as obviously the extras pack, which is okay, good, along with the etched nameplates. So was there anything in the bottom of the plastic? Yes, there's that's all. So that's not too bad. I have to find out where it comes from. I'll bring it up and see if I can show you a bit better, hopefully without dropping it. So we need it to focus, if it will. I don't know what that is, but I'll have to see if I can find it. But easily stuck on, I would imagine. So not too bad, looking reasonably good. So I'll just bring the model up and we'll just have a quick look at it. And yeah, super. As I say, I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty. There's been hundreds of these, isn't there? Everything looks to be okay. The fans look all to be the same sort of height. I have noticed that one person had a fan sort of too high, and it looks good. I can see all the bits. I'm trying to hold it with the sort of there rather than grab the round the bottom, which is what you normally do because of the weight. But it all seems to be looking good. And it is quite heavy, I must admit. It is heavy. It's surprising in the box. That box didn't feel that heavy when I took it off the delivery driver. But yeah, with it like this, it's pretty heavy. Now, apparently some people had glue on the wheels. And I can't see any, although I've just noticed I have a loose chain by the look of it. Yep, there's a loose chain here, look. But the others do seem to be intact, so a little bit of glue will sort that out, I think. And in fact, I think that chain, that piece that we've just seen, is what holds the chain on. So that's why the chain's off, I think, looking at it. So yeah, I think that's it. So a little bit of glue and things. So next time you see this, hopefully we'll have it up on the top in the loft and see if it'll run. Well, hello everybody. I haven't quite got up onto the layout in the loft at the moment because I thought I'd glue that chain back on. Now the bit that I thought was part of it was not, and I still haven't found where it's come from, so at the moment that's off and it'll probably stay off. And you might be thinking you're looking at the chain that would come off. Well, you're not. This chain fell off while I was trying to repair the other one. And unlike the other one where the whole chain with the fixing part came off, this one broke off of the piece that goes into a little hole in the bodywork, and I'll show you a photo of it. So I've just literally stuck this onto that area with quite a bit of super glue, and I'm hoping it will stay on. Now the ones on the other side seem okay. So if we now go to the other end, so this is the original one that had come off, and I had no end of trouble. I am getting on a bit. My hands shake. My eyesight is not great, and these bits are so incredibly fiddly, and the chain seems to have a mind of its own and actually wants to always go within the body shell. And as you can see, I've had to touch this out with a little bit of blue to sort of hide the white of the glue that was on it, which obviously didn't hold, and whatever. So I love the model, don't get me wrong, and okay, there's always going to be a bit of grime around this area, so if it was going to be weathered, which it won't in my case, but if it was, you could just disguise it. These very finicky little bits are taking the enjoyment out of the model. You receive them with bits missing and bits maybe not fitted. Now, since doing this, I did also lose the ladder that's on this end, and I've tried to glue it back on, and I cannot get it to stay there. I just haven't got that sort of skill. But there is one missing on the other side that wasn't there, and it wasn't in the packaging, so that was completely missed off. So can I appeal to manufacturers, stop going so fine that you're going to stop us buying them, or you will stop me buying them. So I've yet to run this. I still don't actually know whether it works. So that'll be the next thing to do. But it is a nice model. Don't get me wrong. You know, I like it. But does a little chain, you know, in 00 gauge, really matter that much? It's caused me to knock off a ladder. Another one has fallen off, and you know, I've now got glue on my bodywork, whereas I shouldn't have. And you know, we're not all as nimble as little Chinese ladies that put these things together. Nowhere near. Next time into the loft, and I'll just run it to see if it runs and if the sounds come on. Obviously, if that doesn't work, then it will be going back. So, cheers. Welcome back. Right, we're up in the loft. I have the Acura Scale Class 55 Deltic on the rails. And you, like me, are going to join me in seeing if this actually runs. I assure you, I have not tried it. I've turned the system on. I've turned on iTrains, but of course I cannot run this on iTrains because there's no database at all for this. So I will run it on the DigiKeys command station, and I've obviously put number 3 in its number because it's a new loco. So I'm about to just see if it actually moves. I'm not going to put any sounds or lights or anything on. I just want to see if it actually runs forwards and backwards. So let's have a look. And at this point I don't know which is front and which is back. So I've clicked it to go forward, and let's see if anything happens, shall we? Could be dirty track, I suppose. Oh, it moved. It's moving. So forwards is the opposite end of what we've pushed it on. So let's stop it again. So it was good that it actually moved. So we'll do it backwards. So let's see what happens. So this is at so this is 5 speed steps. So as I think in most of the others, it's a little bit jerky, isn't it, I would say, but it's not too bad. So it does actually move forward. Let's go a little bit more. There we are. So this is now up to 20. And I've set it quite a difficult task, and we'll follow it around. Excuse the bridge in the way. It's got to go over my Hornby standard points without falling off, through the tunnel and out onto the 3rd line. So I'm now going to take it off the tripod, and as you might hear, I have the fan going. It's 80 degrees in here, so this is looking quite pleasing. I was really apprehensive about this, so let's see. So I'm quite, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So I think I'll speed it up a little bit. So we now have 40 speed steps. It's very quiet. I can hear a few little jiggies and whatever, but I'm quite pleased with this. So we'll bring it round to the straight near me. It seems to so far have gone all over my track, which isn't the best. And here she comes. So this is good. So I'm just going to go and slow her down and stop her. So that, remember, was in reverse. So let's see if she goes forward, shall we? So this is again at 5 speed steps, and she is moving forward. But yes, a little bit jerky, but this is, you know, no running in this. This is literally out the box. As you saw me unload it earlier on downstairs, this is out the box. So let's give her a little bit more juice and see how she takes going the other way. So here she comes. This is at 35. And she is remarkably quiet. I think we'll bring her back into the sidings and we'll just try the sounds and the lights. That's assuming she makes it, of course. She comes. So I'm going to try and hold the camera with one hand and do the controls with the other. So she's come over all those points. Now I think there might be a bit of a trouble on this stuff, yes. But she's still running, so that's good. There we are. So I'll put the camera back on the tripod and we'll see what happens to the sounds. So bearing in mind that you're now looking at the reverse or the stern of the locomotive, let's see if it will actually start up with lights and whatever. Now, can I put the lights on? I have got the stuff that comes with it for the functions, of which there are 30. So FO is head code, main marker lights and directional. So let's see if anything happens to it. At the moment it's in forward, so let's put it to reverse. We have a head code. That's super. Can't see any out of here. So let's change it to the other end and have a look. You won't see this, I'm going to look. Yes, we have a head code, IS42. And this end it's IE05. So, okay. So let's try F1. Let's see if it starts, shall we? That sounds good. So I think we should give her a go and see what she sounds like with the engine going, don't you? Those additional noises we heard, I didn't do anything. They must be automatic. So yeah, I'm happy with this. Well, just have a go at the horn, I think. And then I'm going to call it a day on this. You've seen everybody else has done every, what's the name, so we'll do number 3 and number 4 and see what they're like. Sorry for handheld, but it's just a case of having a go, really. So F3 you need to turn it off, otherwise it will stay on, and F4. That doesn't sound like a horn, does it? Try F2, Robert. F4 with the roof fans. I could do with them in here to cool me down. But we'll have a go at F2, shall we? So, of the two, and this is F3, to me that one sounds a bit weedy. That's more to my liking. So I've turned the engine off because it's a little bit noisy. I wouldn't say it's got the timber of the, say, the Hatton 66, but obviously they're different engines, and there are two engines in this, aren't there? One at front, one at back. There are other things to do. There's the lit engine bay, the dials that light up, which is incredible. So in conclusion, yes, I'm keeping it. It's working great. I think the very heavy locos that they're now producing really work well over the rails. They sort of stay on. You get a light loco, it can just bounce off at the slightest little lump, can't it? But with these, and the Hattons is the same, and maybe the Class 52 Western from Daypole, you know, they do. And also probably the 68 over there, it's quite heavy. What would I say? I'm hoping that the chains don't cause a problem and keep falling off. And if I let you know that I would say that I'm one of these modelers that these manufacturers need to go after, because of my 36, 37, 38 locos I have, off the top of my head, I only can think of one that is second hand. So all the others have been bought new. And if you make these locos so, what shall we say, fragile, I think is the word to use, that you cannot handle them and get them on the track and whatever. And in my case, I need to take them downstairs. I don't leave them on the rails. You know, they go downstairs in my display cabinet. So please, please, yes, detail to a certain extent, but on 00, maybe tone it down a bit. If you want to put all this really incredible stuff on an O gauge, then maybe, because it's all going to be beefier and easier to do. And it's far from me to criticise your designers and manufacturers, because they're phenomenal. But these chains, could they not have just hooked through a hole in the bodywork rather than the bits that keep breaking? And I'm not going to let Hattons get away with saying something. I think the axles, the revolving axles, were a great idea, but the way you designed it, it was a little bit too much. If you'd designed it, as Peter Dixon said, you know, with a deeper hole in the axle and it would slide on to that axle end, yes, maybe working, but they cause problems, and I can see these chains causing problems, as well as all these little ladders, you know. But as a model, I love it, and it's going to stay in Robert's train set, and I need to get it into the database. So I'm going to put this up. I'm still doing the York one, so I'm going to put this up hopefully tonight, which is the day it was delivered, and I hope you enjoyed the little bit. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm just slightly disappointed that I've had to sort of ruin it a bit to get it to go, because you cannot just leave the chains hanging down, can you? You must get rid of them. Either take them off completely, which I didn't want to do, or glue them on as I have. So yeah. So please subscribe if you haven't, and a like would be nice, and watch out for my next one. All right, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for watching.